Have you ever felt like your life or business is stagnant? You're kind of feeling stuck and bored and like things are just rolling along fine, but you're wanting so much more? If this resonates, you might be stuck in what I call the curse of the comfort zone. That's what we're going to talk about today on Max Potential Habits. If it's your first time here, I'm Dr. Amanda Barrientos, the host of Max Potential Habits, the founder of NFA Coaching, and the person who brings you tips, tools, and inspirational interviews each and every week to help you optimize your habits so you can thrive in life and business. And when we're stuck in comfort zone, we're not thriving. It means that we are feeling stagnant. We could be feeling stuck, or we could be kind of just rolling along, but you have this underwriting feeling like you want more. You want to be more, you want to do more, you want to have more, you're wishing for greater impact. Maybe it's that you're just realizing like, is this all there is to life? It's really no way to live because we only get this one life in this body, and there's so many cool things to do in the world, and there's so much contribution you can make, and you're a model to the people around you. So if you're riding the wave of comfort zone, sure, it feels good for a little while. You know, if you go back to episode, let's see, it was 147, where we talked about the superhuman burnout cycle. You don't want to be pushing yourself so hard that you're in the superhuman burnout cycle, but you also don't want to be in a place where you're feeling stuck and not making a contribution to the world because you feel like your life is somewhat of a waste, or you just have that sense of like, there's gotta be more than this. And so one of my favorite quotes by Dr. John Demartini is that optimal growth occurs at the border of challenge and support. I'll say it again because it's such a powerful one. Optimal growth occurs at the border of challenge and support. When you're in comfort zone, it's because you're not in an optimal growth state. It's because you're too supported. So if you're too challenged, you're in the superhuman burnout cycle. If you're too supported, you're in comfort zone, kind of just riding the easy wave, even though you know there's something more. You feel stuck, and the curse reason is because it's easy in comfort zone, right? Like, and I'm not talking about easiness where we have joy and flow and ease in our life when we're in alignment and stepping into our zone of genius. I'm talking about when we're kind of in this space where we're not really that fulfilled, but we're riding the wave anyways because it feels so comfortable and safe and easy, in quotes, if you're watching me. Like you don't really have to put in too much effort or that where you're feeling fearful. So this is I'm glad I'm having this talk outward because, you know, we want our life to be easy and flowing. That's a manifestation-based state, but we don't want it to be easy in that we're limiting ourselves from stepping into our fullest power and to our fullest expression and attracting all the things we want. We can only do that when we're in our zone of genius. And our zone of genius is not comfort zone. Zone of genius is a place where you're overcoming your fears, you're facing them, you're courageously moving forward anyway, you're revamping your mindset and your energy to align and flow, and then things come easily to you. It's not that you're not taking action in the direction of your vision, it's that you're taking daily action in the direction of your vision. So comfort zone looks like you having, you know, maybe a job that you kind of like, but you're just riding the wave because you're too afraid to step out and do something different. Maybe it's ask for a promotion, a raise, or it's that you have this great idea to write a book and you don't take the steps to do it because you're too stuck in comfort zone. You're like, you know, I'll get to it next week because my life is pretty simple and flowing. I actually feel bad for people that are stuck in the curse of the comfort zone because I've lived a life where in much of my history, I've been very much in survival mode, which survival mode is on the other end where you feel kind of stuck and frustrated and scared all the time. And that can be a very motivating force. A lot of what I've created in my life and business was based on that survival mode fear where I felt like I had no choice but to work my ass off all the time to make sure I could make ends meet. That's the border of overly challenged that leads to burnout. If you're in that state, you're going to end up with, sometimes people end up with depression, or they end up with a lot of anxiety, they end up burnt out, then they can't take action at all, they start to get sick, their relationships fall apart. We don't want you on that end, but we also don't want you on the over-supported end where you're not growing at all and you're not fulfilling your dreams and your visions because you're stuck in the curse of comfort zone. So when I say I kind of feel sorry for people in that mode, it's like, it's not something I've experienced much in my life because I'm constantly challenging myself. My problem can be where I challenge myself too much and then it can get into a burnout phase. If you're the person who likes a lot of comfort and ease, like you're like, I'll challenge myself next week, and you tend to be more on the procrastinator end, this episode's probably going to resonate with you more. So it's going to be you going like, yeah, I want more. I want to create more in my life, but I'm kind of in that cozy space where I don't have to take action in a direction. And then you're not going to end up needing to change anything unless you decide to. So the reason that I say this is because often when we're needing to go through a growth cycle, the universe will bring us things to help us get there. Whereas when you're in comfort zone, it's like you've got your bills paid for, you've got your life is flowing. You might have a job that you don't love, but it's like cush enough that you can just flow along with it. And so in that state, it's going to have to be your choice that pushes you in a new direction, that pulls you in a new direction, that inspires you in a new direction. And the reason I say this is because the most fulfilling and meaningful life is when you're living in your zone of genius. You can't live in comfort zone and be in your zone of genius. Those two do not match because optimal growth occurs at the border of challenge and support. You want to be in that optimal phase. And this is called eustress. So if you're overly challenged, you're going to be in a state of constant stress where it's too much stress on the distress side. If you're in comfort zone, you're not feeling stressed, but you're not really growing and you're not really getting too far because you're stagnant and stuck. If you're in the eustress state, that's where you have an equal amount of challenge and support. So you're not burning out, you're stepping into your zone of genius, you're being magnetic with your energy and your mindset, and you're able to really have things happen in your life in a balanced, flowing, awesome way. So I like to think of these three things as 3 zones. So you're either in the frustrated and fucked zone. I know I'll say frustrated and feeling stuck zone. If you don't like the F word, that's okay, I get it. So frustrated zone, then you're in the comfort zone where you feel fine. So it's frustrated, or you're like, I'm fine, but who wants to live just a fine life? Or you're fired up. So you're either frustrated, fine, or fired up. So if you're noticing yourself kind of saying like, I'm fine, things are fine, my relationship's fine, my, growing my wealth is fine, then you need to listen up and do what I'm about to tell you. And this is because you're not going to optimally grow. And I'm not talking about optimal growth where we push and think we always need to be in the crazy doing it all superhuman mode where you end up burnt out. No, I'm talking about balanced flow, getting into your zone of genius. So first, for your action steps today, I really want you to rate yourself. I call this the comfort zone spectrum. So I want you to rate yourself on the comfort zone spectrum. Are you at frustrated, where you feel very victim-minded and everything sucks? You feel imprisoned by your life. You feel like you're stuck in constant survival mode. This would be a 0, right? If you're in the middle, you're in comfort zone, you're at about 5, and you're kind of like, life is fine, things are okay. That's comfort zone. If you're fired up, you're at a 10. You're like, yeah, life is good, things are good. I'm riding the wave of fired up life where things are coming my way and I'm in my zone of genius and I'm every day getting up going like, oh yeah, I'm pinching myself because my life is so freaking good. That's fired up. That'd be a full 10. So first, I just want you to rate yourself. Where are you on that spectrum? Frustrated, fine, or fired up? And then if you're in between a 0 and a 4, you've really got to start with mindset shifts. And you're probably not gonna like to hear this, but you have to take a radical responsibility approach. And what you're not gonna like to hear is your outer world is a reflection of your inner world. Many people who are in frustrated mode or zone, it's because they're blaming other people for their reality and they're thinking that everyone else is responsible for where they're at, and you're never gonna get unstuck if that's you. You've gotta be the one that goes, yikes, I'm creating this reality. My outer world is a reflection of my inner world, and I'm tired of being frustrated and stuck, and I've got to start to shift. So you got to start with really mindset, like the foundational levels of mindset shifts. To listen to the full episode, head on over to nfacoaching.com, hit the podcast link, and it'll take you to all of the full episodes. And go ahead and leave some comments. I'd love to hear from you to know how these inspirational interviews, tips, and tools are impacting you in your life and business. And be sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on any of the Max Potential Habits episodes.